Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. So if you don't understand the big why behind why EXP is the biggest disruptor in real estate right now, why so many agents are coming over, why so many broker owners are moving their entire businesses and teams over, please don't join our company. I have spoken to too many agents who have joined over here at EXP with us for the wrong reasons, with the wrong support, and then they get stuck and they don't get what they need. So in all honesty, I tell people nearly every day, don't join this company until you understand the why. So I was prompted to make this video because I got a response from a franchise broker in another market, an email. I had sent some EXP information to one of their agents based on an inquiry from them. They had reached out and asked for some information. That broker contacted me and told me to stop and said they didn't appreciate me speaking to their agents. So I don't know about you, but if I owned an office, a franchise, or an indie brokerage, and I saw that agents were leaving, I wouldn't be angry. I would be curious. I would want to know why they were leaving and why they weren't coming to talk to me about it before. What are they not getting that they see that they can possibly get from somewhere else? So that was my answer. If they felt they wanted to recruit EXP agents, have at it. My attitude is we all deserve the best we can get and the most help in supporting our business. So in explaining this encounter with a person I really respect who's also in real estate, I was continuing to share the differences about the EXP model, and it still wasn't clicking. So then I showed her a diagram, and once it clicked, she said, why doesn't everybody run their business this way? Why are there even any other models? And more importantly, why have I put off building my own brand and my business for so long? So I figured today the fastest and easiest way to explain why I believe EXP is actually disrupting the brokerage model, and it's the best brokerage to run your business with, I'll share that diagram with you. So just a little about me. I'm Paige Hyatt, Montana Good Life Properties, brokered by EXP Realty. I've been in real estate almost 10 years, investor before that. For the first 8 years, I was renting my business. And what I mean by that is I had bounced around to several different brokerages, 4 to be exact, 2 franchises, 2 indies. And really all I was doing was paying my brokers part of my commission. And at the end of the day, when I left those brokerages, I left with nothing, right? Zero. Even building my own independent brokerage, which at the time I thought was the holy grail of real estate. Nobody to answer to, 100% commission splits, right? But it gave me no stock, no healthcare options, no outside support beyond what I was willing to go out and find and pay for directly out of the money that I was making. So since I've been coming up at almost 2 years with EXP, I have built ownership. I have stock that I can take with me and sell, invest in real estate, cash out, make home improvements. I have residual passive income from the agents that I bring in and train and support continually. I've bought a condo for my mom. It's changing my life in ways that none of those other models ever did. So it's something that keeps me growing and allows me to build a business that's separate from me, a real estate business. So before, once I'd sell a home, I'd get a commission and that would be done. When I help an agent build their brand and business here at EXP, I continue to get rewarded year after year after year when they grow. So I'm directly incentivized to make sure that they're doing well. I'd like to start in showing you this why through that diagram and why I think it's a little bit different. So this diagram was something that was thought up by Gene Frederick, who is also with EXP. And I think it really illustrates how this is truly a movement that will disrupt real estate models moving forward. So I've been here almost 2 years. And even though I know and believe that EXP is amazing and I get support and training I need from my peers, I'm really growing into being a better business operator. So this explanation helps me talk to other people so they can understand it from their perspective, and I'm hoping it'll do the same for you. So it can be a hard thing to grasp, because in real estate, I do believe that we are programmed to think about brokerages and commissions and running businesses in a very old-fashioned, outdated way. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do it this way. So back in 1908, Coldwell Banker started business. They started with a 50-50 split, right? And then came along Century 21. They dominated in the 60s and 70s. And what they did was they did a 70-30 split to bring agents more money. So taking 30% instead of 50%. So all the agents started to move over to Century 21, right? Then Remax comes on the scene, and they offer a 95-5 structure. So they only keep 5% of the commission, right? Sounds pretty cheap. Well, at this model, agents actually get punished for the amount of transactions they do and how successful they are. No cap. So if you work at a company like this or this company, like some of my friends have, you're punished the more you make, since there's no cap. So as you grow in your success and you pay out 5% with no cap, it can end up being $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year with fees on top of that. So that was Remax in the 60s and 70s, and they tended to dominate in the 80s and 90s. Then another company comes along, right? KW, Keller Williams, the big boy, right? Keller Williams stayed at that 70-30 split. So they stayed there, 30% from every transaction, but they introduced the cap. We'll call it a low cap here, right? They have a cap, whereas the other one didn't. So you only have to pay $23,000 here, which is your cap. And then you're at 100%. So the agents from Century 21 and Coldwell Banker all started over, moving over to Keller Williams. Today they have about 150, 160,000 agents. They had 175,000 or so at their peak. So they're losing a little bit of traction. Then you have EXP, right? The founder of EXP actually worked for Keller Williams. He owned 6 market centers, and he ended up selling those market centers to an agent named Ben Kinney, who still works over at KW and has done very well. And during the crash of 2008, Glenn, our founder, figured out that if he could get rid of these brick and mortar buildings, since everything was already going internet-based, he could take his income for his office to the next level while also giving agents more. So he truly disrupted this model, completely flipped it on its head. So how did he do it? So let's take a closer look. I want you to see that this is the traditional side right here. That's the traditional side. This is how they operate. They have their international leadership, right? And ownership. Those owners then divide up the nation into regional owners. So they're divided into regional owners. So those regional owners buy the rights to sell franchise agreements to people that want to own and operate a franchise. So these people are taking all the risk, right? They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to own the rights to sell franchise contracts. Then they go out and find people who want to own franchises. People who want to own franchises. They say, hi, would you like to own your own office? Would you want to get out of sales? They say, yes, I'm tired of selling real estate every day. I want one of these offices. Great. Now they take on some risks, right? So the risk is being spread. And if you are one of these franchise owners, you're going to pay anywhere from $70,000 up to $300,000 to own and operate that franchise. Then they have to go out and find an office space to buy or lease, paying for that in a primo location, which is very expensive. Then they have to hire professional recruiters to bring in agents to cover these costs, and then staff these locations to operate that business and keep the buildings running. And at the bottom of this inverted pyramid that we've just built is us. That's where we come in, the agents. So this is where I lived in my career while I worked at other brokerages, or some version of this. I would sell a home, and it would go up to pay for the infrastructure, right? Then finally, the people at the top that get the royalty fees. So every time a home sells, somebody is holding out their hand, taking part of my commission. Then Glenn changed that. When he got rid of this traditional model, right, which is that side, he decided to bring the agents all the way up here. So instead of being down here, they're up here, right? So he does that by sharing 50% of all of the company profit that gets in. So 50% of the profit, which is half of your split, goes back to agents to help them grow the company. So you're probably thinking, how do they make money? How can they afford to do that? Real estate companies are in it for the money, right? 50% of all the revenue that comes into eXp gets paid out to agents. So crazy. Well, think about it. When you get rid of all of this overhead and all of these people that are looking for handouts, franchise owners, regional, international, all of that infrastructure goes away, and you bring that agent up to the top, then you add in additional disruptive elements. Stock, right? Rev share, which is when I bring in an agent and I train them and support them to build their business. I get a piece of the company's cut. Leads from KV Core, which is our CRM that's provided to us. We also have training from the best and successful people in our industry. So why are they doing this? Why are these people taking time to train us? Because they are stockholders. They get stock when the company grows, just like I do, and they want everybody to succeed. When I bring agents into eXp, if they're not succeeding, it's just a waste of time and energy for everyone. And I don't make any money and they don't succeed. So with these disruptors, what we're doing is we're getting rid of the old antiquated model that frankly were genius in their time back in the day. Back then, it was a race to commissions to give agents a better life, to give them more than 50% of their income, like it started out. And that was incredible for agents back in the day, right? I'm really glad I didn't work in those models back in the 80s and 90s. I got into real estate around 2011. Not a great time to start, but now what's happening is because the cloud-based solutions are growing in popularity and becoming more sophisticated, like Netflix putting Blockbuster out of business, Blockbuster was a genius model, right? Until it wasn't. No one could touch them. They were untouchable until the model changed. Then Airbnb. They're considered now the #1 hotel chain in the world, and they don't own one single brick or mortar building. Look at the taxi business model. They can't stand Uber and Lyft, but they're now forced to build their own apps so their drivers can compete. So eXp is that same type of solution, right? You can rent your business over the next 5, 10, 20 years, however long you plan to be in real estate until you leave, and you're going to leave with nothing unless you've invested some of your income, saved your money. I'm hoping you do, but you don't have any ownership in what you've left behind. You haven't directly changed someone's life. So this is why I think eXp is a true disruptor. It's the first of its kind. And I know that there are a few others that are trying to emulate the model, but have different components. They are copycats, but here's another amazing tool that we also use, Virbela. Virbela is what runs eXp World. We do have offices. We have cloud-based employees that work in offices that help over, at least, I think we're over 55,000 agents nationwide. They help us run our businesses. We are in every single MLS in the country. We're in Canada and we're in 17 other countries. So when you're selling real estate, especially luxury real estate, you want to make sure that you are with a global provider so that you can offer the most for your clients. So Virbela is that main hub in our ecosystem. We also have access to offices, brick and mortar offices that we contract with all across the country. I've used them when I'm in Boston, New York. I'm able to use those free of charge. All of our classes are on Virbela. Virbela isn't exclusive to real estate. Universities have used it for virtual learning, and it was really instrumental during COVID. eXp is just a really amazing solution for us to run our businesses. And I want you to have something left for yourself at the end of your career rather than just a number of sales. So imagine coming into real estate, coming to eXp with 7 business partners or 7 levels of people that you can go to for help. When you sell a home at the traditional brokerage model, whether it's independent or franchise, you have all of these layers that are expecting you to pay them out. At eXp, all of the agents that are above and below you are all incentivized to help you succeed because we all succeed. We get stock rewards, financial payouts every month that don't come out of my split. Rather, they come from half of that company split. Like I said, that is how it's structured. Compare this to the traditional model structure. When you invite someone to come and join your brokerage, what do you get? Coffee card? So incentivized leadership is really the differentiator and the disruptor. I can't say it enough. So if you're on the fence about joining eXp, I'd say get with somebody who can help you understand it. Get with somebody who you want to emulate, whose business you admire, someone who can help you double, triple, 10x your business and build something that you can stand on. Get with those people or person and see what we offer. I am committed to being an advocate for agents helping agents. Actually, my local group here is called AHA, or Agents Helping Agents West, AHA West. So before I wrap this up, one more thing. One of the mistakes I've seen a lot of agents make, and you hear them talking about this on YouTube and social media about why eXp is so terrible and didn't work for them and is a sham and pyramid scheme, all that kind of thing, is the most important thing about joining eXp, come closer, is who you join with. Yes, it does offer a lot of support and financial incentives as a business model, but the real reason you're joining eXp is not because of eXp, it's because you're joining because of the value of who you get to work with once you join. That is the true value. So be sure you do your research and don't just join without a sponsor that you've spoken to and you believe can support you. My support group isn't even in Montana, and I took a bit of time to talk to a lot of different people across the country and research what I really needed for my business before I chose the group that I decided to align with. And that has really made all the difference. I want more agents to run their businesses in this way because it's more profitable, it's more rewarding, and it's more sustainable. It makes sense. And honestly, I do think it's the future of real estate models. I think the other ones are just too outdated to stick around. So if you have any other questions, I can take a minute and see what sort of questions have popped up. I know I did get a few beforehand. If I don't answer your question here today, you can find a way to contact me down here in the links. We can set up a strategy call. I would love to talk to you about whether or not the eXp model is a great fit for you. I'd love to help you create generational wealth for you and your family. So thanks, guys, for listening. Okay, what is the split? So the split for eXp agents is 80-20, and it's for everyone. It doesn't matter if you are a $10 million producer or $10,000 producer. Every year at your anniversary date, the date you joined, it resets to an 80-20 until you pay in $16,000 towards the cap. Now, this is a traditional single agent model. There are some other structures that other agents and teams have created themselves, but basically the most important, the most popular structure for individual agents joining is an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. After that, there are some fees, a brokerage and compliance fee that are attached once you cap and you're at 100%. There's more on my website. If you go to montanagoodlife/careers, there's a breakdown of that, as well as becoming an icon agent and what's required to reach that status. New agents coming in. So this is really a hot topic, and I want to talk a little bit about new agents or newer agents that are really looking for some support in how to get their business off the ground. This doesn't mean you just started in real estate. I've encountered quite a few agents who have been in the business many, many years and have never really created a foundation for their business with systems and automation that they can rely on. I am a systems junkie, and that's how I run my business, so I can step away from it and have a life. I like to separate my business from my life and not have everything bleed together. If you're a newer agent or new agent that has sold less than 3 transactions, closed less than 3 transactions in the last 12 months, we have what's called the Certified Mentor Program. And that means that you will receive mentorship for the first 3 transaction sides that you close when you join EXP. You're not required to do this if you've closed more than 3 in the last 12 months. I am a certified mentor. I am a certified mentor, so agents that I sponsor, I also mentor if they are required to be in that program. We meet every week. I give you training, tutorials, and access to my business strategies library. So you learn scripts, you learn automations, you learn how to set up your database, you learn about contracts, pretty much everything you need to be able to get off the ground running fast. And I have seen agents that work with me through this model versus agents that are just out on their own with very little support. And the difference is, I'd say, threefold at a minimum. No, you're not. You are not required to be a broker to bring in agents and train them. There is a team model available in EXP, and it has a little bit of a different structure. It has a lower cap for team members, and I'm happy to share that info with you. I have a link that I can send you with a lot of additional information. So just message me if you'd like, paige@montanagoodlife.com, and I can send you all of that. But no, you do not need to be a broker to have your own brand. So for example, I have an agent I recently brought over from another franchise, and she's several decades in the business, and for the first time is starting to build her own brand, her logo, her brand, and we're co-branding it with EXP, which they actually encourage. They want us to build our own businesses. Imagine that, right? So we have something that we can sell perhaps if we want to, or share with others, share resources with others. So I am sharing with her how to build a brand, how to build her database and automate her business so that she can eventually step away from that. And her goal is to train agents and to share her wealth of knowledge and eventually exit the business. So we are strategizing how that can happen for her and setting up that timeline. Do we have offices? I touched on that briefly earlier. We have a contract with Blah Diddy Blah, and that's a national, I believe it's national, I'm not sure if it's international, where we can access their offices at any time. We can go in there if let's say you're at a conference in Dallas, if there's an office nearby, you have the ability, you have a membership and you have the ability to go in there and do work, meet with a client, use their printers, that sort of thing, anywhere you are. So even locally, I'm here in Bozeman. I do happen to have my own office space, but there is an office available for EXP agents here in Bozeman that they can utilize anytime they need it, even if that's daily or occasionally. So yes, that is offered. We have as far as how it's structured, someone's asking how is there a broker for every city or every office? Since we are a cloud-based brokerage, we don't have offices per se in different cities or regions. So in Montana, since we have much fewer agents than, let's say, California, we have one state broker, and he runs a team that helps him with compliance, with agent training, with outreach, all sorts of tips and tricks that they offer to us on a regular basis, and they're available with questions as well. We also have EXP World, which I mentioned runs through Verbella, and you can go in there at any time and ask the help desk for questions about commissions, bookkeeping. That's where our training is held. It's held virtually in that EXP World. Okay, so there's a few more redundant questions on here, but I am going to wrap it up. Hopefully this was helpful to you and you learned a little bit more about how this model functions differently from other models that have been in existence. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. Have a great day.